It could be that you may have a problem with your liver or even your kidney. Yeah, it could be as a result of hepatitis A, B, C, E, and we can go on and on and on. So this afternoon, Dr. Martin J is right here with us in the studios of Love 99.5, and he's going to help us with all the necessary responses to what itchy skin is all about and how serious, it is, and how dangerous it could also be to our health. Now, aside from the fact that we want to talk about itchy skin, if you have any problem with your skin and you want doctor to give you some answer or some idea as to what to do, as to how to go about it, I'm sure he would, gladly oblige. He's right here. Doc, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dave.
And I hope you're well.
Oh, by God's grace.
Interestingly, time flies fast. Last Thursday we were here. It seems as if it was just yesterday.
It's true.
But you're here today with us. And I thank God for your life. And of course, I'm grateful to you for your time. Now, I have mentioned that the skin is the largest organ of the human body.
That's right.
I've also mentioned that the skin acts as if it's the mirror of the human body.
It is indeed.
It is indeed a mirror. Yeah. Okay. Because whatever happens within, the skin shows it without for us to get to know.
Yeah.
And not everything though, but many of the things.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about itchy skin. When we talk of itchy skin, is it just about you're feeling uncomfortable on the skin and then you take something to scratch? Is that what we're talking about? Or is there something more to it?
Okay. Itch, we call it pruritus.
Pruritus,
yeah, so that's our terminology, but the layman will call it as itch. Yes, when we talk of itchy skin, as the other day I mentioned, it is very broad. Sometimes when you want to talk about it, you don't even know where do you start from. Yeah, but yes, it's that unpleasant desire to scratch the skin.
Okay.
And many skin diseases, we know that forms the integral symptom of a lot of skin disorders.
Okay, what you're saying is that if your skin itches, it could be as a result of many diseases
that you have with your skin.
With the skin?
Yeah.
Not the human anatomy itself?
No.
Okay.
We are saying that almost every skin disease can itch at one point in time.
Okay.
But we have some where even without the associated itch, we even doubt the diagnosis. There are some skin disorders, itch is a mass component. Without itch, we even think of something else.
Okay.
Yeah, but having said this, as you rightly pointed out, if you have itchy skin, sometimes the problem may not be with the skin. It may be as a result of what we call systemic disease. Systemic disease means another disease of an organ of the body outside of the skin. Itch has something common with other uncomfortable situations people find themselves in. For example, somebody may complain of insects crawling on their skin.
Yeah.
It's a form of itch.
Yeah.
So it's another form. It's a varying presentation of itch. To another person too, there may be some tingling sensation of the body. Sometimes as if someone is tickling the body. And then a few may even complain of burning. Sometimes doctors will think it's all to do with nerves. Yes, it's all right, but that's another varying presentation of itch.
Okay.
So somebody itch may be different from another in terms of the way it manifests. But the causes may be the same. As I've said, it may be either the skin itself or as a result of distant systemic disease, an organ, as you mentioned, the kidney, a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll delve into all that, but help me here. There are different kinds of itch of the skin, like you mentioned. Some that is as a result of the systemic disease, like you mentioned, and then some that comes as a result of some very small things, petty things, like let's say allergies, for example. Okay. But should we take every itch seriously?
Not until a doctor has diagnosed the cause for your itch. Yes, you should be worrying about it.
Oh, okay. So until a doctor diagnoses and tells you exactly what is causing your itch, you should be worried about it.
Yeah, you should be worried about it.
But many of us don't take itch seriously, do we?
That's the reason maybe we are here. Yes, that's the reason we are here. Because if you are saying that that is the common denominator for a host of disorders in the body, then the question comes, which of them is really driving that? And the only right person that can really give you the answer It's a doctor. Oftentimes, maybe the skin doctor.
Are you therefore suggesting that every skin itch ought to be taken to the doctor, the dermatologist?
Well, it depends. If it's a trivia, maybe depending on the site of the body. If it's just one part of the body, assuming just the back of your hand.
Back of your hand?
Yeah. That one.
How often, how common, how long? Doesn't matter?
Yeah. If you start seeing changes of the skin, then you should be mindful of it.
If there's no change, it just itches. And let's say it itches, for a few minutes, it goes away, or itches for whatever, and it goes away. I should not be bothered about it.
Again, if it's only limited to just that small part of the body, and it keeps on coming, depending on if you know what really triggers it, and if you think no associated other symptoms, and it's just there, as you said, just some few minutes and it disappears. No skin rash, no nothing. Well, you can. Well, if you think you want to neglect it, it's up to you. But
no, you're the expert, so advise us. Should we neglect it or take it serious?
The thing about it is, once your skin is itchy, human as you are, the tendency is for you to scratch.
Yes, definitely.
Now, as you start scratching the skin, even though that cause may not be anything serious, but as you scratch the skin, you traumatize the skin.
You break the surface.
Yeah, and that can also open the door for other more serious troubles. And so, for that matter, yes, you need to see a skin doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, because as you started in the introduction, we are not really promoting people going after their skin. We say their nails. Yeah, because the nail is just a weapon. And as I said, germs are always on the skin. I remember there was a footballer in the UK who died of a very rare skin infection. The world thought they had even eradicated it. How did he get it? He just got itchy skin, scratched it, not knowing he had that bug, pulled it into the skin, and because the world thought they had eradicated it, there was no medicine. He died from it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should be mindful of whatever the cause if your skin is itchy.
Are you again saying that we should not be scratching our skin once it's itchy?
We suggest if you could twist it.
Twist it?
Rather than, because if you twist the skin, you only induce pain. You haven't destroyed the integrity of the skin. You are safer.
Okay.
Than to go after it with your nails. Sometimes people go after it with even combs, sometimes even knives and things like that.
Pen.
No, you are destroying the skin. And if there's any germ there, that can also start another trouble. So we don't promote just scratching with your nails and weapons like that.
I like the way he puts a weapon, as if you're going to war on your own skin, huh? Well, we're talking about itchy skin here. And doctor has said a couple of things already. He gives us the different types of skin itch that are available. He even mentioned that sometimes you feel like something is crawling on your skin. He says it's one form or type of itchy skin. He also mentions that sometimes you have some tingling sensation or feeling on your skin. It is another form of an itch. He talks about the burning sensation or feeling on your skin. That's also another form of an itch. Now, we all itch at one point in time. But at what point in time do we say that this is dangerous and I need to visit the dermatologist or the skin doctor? Now, for those of you who, will pick up weapons, like Doctor puts it, you take a comb, a pen, a knife, your nails, and attack your skin because you are itchy. And sometimes, I must confess, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It gives some very, very beautiful feeling within you. So you continue. He says you're destroying your skin. You're breaking the surface of the skin such that bacteria can enter. And when bacteria enters your skin, anything is possible. So let's move on to the next stage of our conversation. We want to break it down. Now, Doc, people itch as a result of an allergy.
Yeah.
And listeners, don't worry. For those of you who heard me say that sometimes when your skin is itching, it could be as a result of the fact that you have problem with your kidney, problem with your liver, and there are a few other disease, systemic disease conditions that will bring about this. Don't worry, we'll talk about it and we'll let you know what to do. But let's start off first with the allergies. There are people who will take medications. Those times when we had a lot of the queen.
Yeah, the chloroquine,
whatever queens. You would itch.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are a few other medications even now that some people would take and they will still itch. Yeah. There are people who would, wash ordinary contumely and they will have, itchy skin. And I'm sure that it goes on and on in terms of the allergies. Should we be bothered about that? Even those who bath with some particular kind of soap or water, or apply some cream and they itch. These are things that we are allergic to. These are things that we are aware of. Are they big enough for us to be worried about them, or the fact that we know that contumely and chloroquine whatever queen, we should avoid it and we're fine.
When you talk of allergy, what is it? It's
Something your body's reacting.
Otherwise not very harmful
Okay.
to your skin, but your skin is interpreting it to be a harmful substance, and so the body's defense mechanism is attacking it. And the results is just like if the military will come here and then they are firing. Yes, you have some civilians that may also suffer from stray bullets and things like that. So that's the same thing that goes on. So as the body's defense mechanism attacks this otherwise harmless substance, the aftermath is what you experience. And so sometimes if it's only limited to a portion of the skin, not so much the whole body, well, to some extent it's not that serious, but sometimes it's the whole body. And if it's the whole body, depending on the mechanisms of the allergy and what weapons the defense mechanisms are using, you may also suffer systemic symptoms.
Okay.
And so if you're allergic to something, sometimes patients may not even identify what they're allergic to. But if even you're able to find what you think your body is reacting to, it's still worth always seeing a doctor to see if there's a way around it, because it's not a normal thing. If you are reacting to something otherwise friendly, say after bath or something, it's not normal, because why is it that somebody else is using the same water to bath, not each, but you are? It means there's something wrong.
But don't in as much as we're different, what do you call it, fingerprints for each and every human being, don't we also have different skin types for people?
And that's what is happening. So
because then you could be okay when you take cold shower and not itch, and I would not be okay because we're different skin types. So therefore, I should not necessarily say that we use the same water in bathing. I reacted and you didn't react because our skins are different.
Yeah. If water, for example, normally you are not supposed to react to water. If somebody after bath has itchy skin, that's not to be taken as a normal thing. We will say it's normal in the sense that it's something common. That's not to say no. So it's common.
Okay.
Common and normal, they are different.
Definitely.
It's not normal, but it's common. We have people who, following bath, something in us which we call histamine is released, and following that they get itchy skin. So it's common, but it's not normal.
Okay.
And so anything abnormal, yes, you need to see the right person. And as I said, you need to see a doctor.
Okay.
So I will find out why, and then we can advise you as to how you can really stay, free from these attacks. And should you have it, what should you do? Hearing that even if you have to scratch, yes, you said you feel a bit comfortable scratching. Yeah, it's true, you get some relief. But you've heard that you are really destroying your skin and you could run into trouble. So it's not something just to take it lightly.
What if somebody wants to live with it? I mean, let me be honest here. I have itched since I can remember. I itch anytime, first of all, I take a cold shower. I itch when, after a bath in an environment that is poor, or bad. So let's say I get to a bathroom somewhere and I see, stuff around the bathroom area and all that I'm not comfortable with. After the shower, sometimes even whilst showering, I will itch. So when I travel, I'm mindful as to the washrooms that I use and all that. I have lived with this for a very long time. So when I itch, what I do is sometimes I just make sure that I sit under some fun, some very nice environment. I try to take my mind off it. If need be, I just scratch a bit and I'm good to go. I've lived with it all as well. Is it a big deal?
Yeah, so this is what I was saying. When we talk of big deal is when it could be life-threatening.
Okay.
What you just described is not life-threatening,
Okay.
but it just distorts, peace and work, and then to be concentrated in whatever you are doing. If you are talking about seeing something unsightful, like going to a bathroom where you see something unclean and then you start having itchy skin, yes, itch itself can originate from two places in the body. It can be as a result of something wrong with the skin, or sometimes it originates in the brain.
Okay.
When it originates in the brain, we call it neurogenic pruritus. And that one oftentimes is psychological, and that's exactly what you are describing. There's nothing wrong with your skin, but it's just the brain. And so things go on wrong with the skin, the brain, the way it perceives what you've seen, and the end result The organ that suffers is the skin. So that's neurogenic. That one is not life-threatening. Yes, you can live with it for years. Apart from the fact that, yes, you only feel uncomfortable for some few minutes. Nothing to worry about.
Okay.
The same way, talking about afterbirth itch, which we call aquagenic pruritus. Yes, that is also, again, not life-threatening. It won't affect your life in a way. It's not going to shorten your lifespan, but then it's only going to distort your peace and your comfort. And here we are saying that, yeah, if you think you are not bothered about that because you know what you can do to really bring you relief, well and good. This one, if you don't see a doctor, we are not bothered.
Okay.
But we are talking about instances where you cannot really point at
exactly what is
driving it.
Okay.
That's where you should be mindful that there are hosts of more serious, even including cancers.
We'll talk about all that
can really give you itchy skin.
Okay, so we'll talk about all that and more. Sure, doctor. But help me out here on this very one as well. What about medications? If I itch to a medication, should I take it like the aquagenic or the neuro whatever? Is that how I should take it, or I should take that one as a more serious thing?
Yeah, if you've noticed that there's a particular drug following which anytime you take it in, you start getting itchy skin. Or other medications, you are free from that. The question comes, that drug which you are taking, the dosage, and then how often are you going to? Because it's like you are challenging your body. The body says, I don't want it. And you say, I will still introduce you to what you don't want. If it's just a one day, once a while, something, well, sometimes you can escape it. Like those days when chloroquine. But sometimes some drugs, it's not just itchy skin. It can lead to something we call anaphylaxis. Sometimes you have a host of the histamine and other inflammatory cells release, and sometimes it can even be fatal. So in terms of medications, it's not something you should take very trivial. Okay. Because it's a chemical that is in you. It's different from the psychogenic, where you only saw something and it's just your side. There's nothing wrong in the body. It's just a misinterpretation. So if there's a drug which you know your body starts getting itchy, anytime you take it in, you should notify your doctor. And not until you've even done that, stay away from it.
Stop the medication?
Yeah, as much as possible.
Wow. All right, so does it run in families? Because my mother has a similar thing I was talking about. I mean, when I bath cold water or bath in an environment that is not clean and all, she has it. Hers is crazy. Hers is so crazy. And I have it too. Now, my other siblings don't have it. So for somebody who's listening to us, and maybe a parent has it and he or she has it, let's understand it. Does it run in families? Yeah, it may. The neurogenic one, where due to psychological, that may not necessarily run in families. Okay. Yeah, you may not be able to withstand that nasty sight, but somebody wouldn't mind. Yeah, but here you have a physical assault. Your body is really in contact with something else surrounding, direct contact, water. Yes, sometimes it may run in families. Yeah, you may notice that you are suffering from it, and a sibling or somebody else who I have the same thing. Like I said, well, this one, the world knows that it's not something life-threatening. It's just a discomfort, just some short minutes, few short time after bath. Yeah, so that one, well, if you think you still want to be helped, yeah, you can be helped. That's the message. And if you want to live with it, you can
you can go ahead.
Because it's not that harmful or dangerous.
Aquagenic pruritus is not life-threatening.
When we return from this very break, Doc will tell us which ones are life-threatening, how we can identify the ones that are life-threatening. Because I mentioned that sometimes when your skin itches, it's a sign that you have a liver problem or a kidney problem. Doc also mentioned that it could even be a sign of you having a cancer. So at what point in time can we say that, well, this is what is happening to me? At what frequency? And at what levels in terms of severity? When we return, we have more for you here on The Diary. But like we've been saying, if you have any other skin problem or any other skin condition that you want an advice on, here's a dermatologist. He'll give you the responses. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Oh, this great. Back. Hey, Mr. Techi, please come and help me open my gate. I beg you. What is wrong with this gate? You know, this is the second time I've changed this gate after the thieves broke into my shop 2 months ago. When I open it, it always gets stuck in the middle here. I don't know why. I'm even tired of it.
Paco, I've always been telling you, never compromise on quality. You see, I've been using my roller shutter gate for the past 10 years, and I have never had any problems with it because I got it from Donima Steel Complex. Donima Steel Complex provides quality roller shutter gates at affordable prices. They are of high quality and impossible to break in. That's not all. They have the manual and automatic gate systems, which are ideal for warehouses, domestic stores, and garages. And they are installed by professionals without any extra charges.
Had I known.
Don't had I known, yeah. Locate Donima Steel Complex at Asafo, YF Junction, near the Ghana Revenue Authority office, or call 0244-126-625. Donima Steel Complex, home of tropical products.
The great thing about life is that we are all different and we are free to enjoy life's different flavors everywhere. Under the blazing sun or during a fun night out with a crew, it doesn't matter because at that moment, all you need to do is reach for a Club Mineral to turn up the sweet, bitter, bubbly, spicy or tangy flavor. Whether Club Orange, Club Cola, Club Muscatella, Club Soda or Club Tonic, there's a flavor for everyone. Turn up the flavor. Club Minerals, there's a flavor for everyone.
Remember that no passadia, me family casa for me promi engine more. That's just the Nkonkwa. Maniche Ultimate Fashions. Any Ultimate Furniture City. Ultimate Fashions. That's your money memengina. Now say me increase me swagger. Yes, sir, me kwa designer shirts be to say. Ferdinando, Kenneth Cole, Max Fendi, Perry Jacobs. Any the Akikan will be brave. Ningina minya bito. Ultimate bed show Italian shoes, slippers and sandals. Khaki, any material trousers. Office, any wedding wear. For the ladies. Ultimate were all kinds of American designer dresses. Say be a wedding our engagement and a dinner be or party be. The obeshe fistro costi from our Ultimate Fashions what Branda IGD will be our Ultimate will be Ellen Tracy and Adriana Papel, Jones New York, Tahari, Casper, any baby. For today's perfect gentleman and lady, the only place to go are your Ultimate Fashions. Ultimate Furniture City. So furniture store be also say more living room furniture, bedroom sets, dining room set, garden, and a porch chairs. Actually, Ultimate Furniture City. Catch on because Ultimate selection and the BNA plus 3 and your money are fair and your money are heavy and your money are class. Obi round them na say what on your messy Ultimate Furniture City. And one way who dibre make a shini kutre and still whole looking funky. Messi and friendly Ultimate qua. If it be binty, Ultimate Fashions and Furniture City. Simply a touch of style. Medu Ultimate Ewedum Methodist in Chenwa.
All right, so we're back. This is Love 97.5, and you are listening to a program called The Diary. My name is David AKUETTEH, and I'm the moderator or the host for the program. This afternoon, we're fortunate enough to have Dr. Martin Ajay. He's a dermatologist at the Kumfanochi Teaching Hospital and also Premier Skin Care. And we're talking about itchy skin. Do you have any problem with your skin? If you do, well, he's got some answers for you as to how you can handle it. But again, the major conversation actually is on itchy skin. Does your skin itch? How long have you had that itchy skin? Is it something you're taking seriously or lightly? Well, we've been told this afternoon by a doctor that if you have an itchy skin, depending on what the cause is, you can take it lightly. You can choose to ignore it. But to some extent, some of them are quite dangerous, such that it could lead to your death. He talked about a footballer in England who, had an itchy skin, was itching it, or scratching it actually, was scratching it. And bacteria entered his skin and he passed. We also know of some itchy skin that is caused as a result of a problem with your liver, a problem with the kidney, or even some cancer. Well, we're here. We're having this conversation. If you have questions, you know what to do. You can log on to Facebook and search for Love 97.5. Find the diaries post and drop your questions there. And the doctor will give you some responses. It's now some 27 minutes past 2. So, Doc, you've told us a couple of things. The aquagenic types of skin problem or the itchy skin. Then there's aquagenic. Yeah. And then we're talking about the ones with in terms of medication and all that. You have also told us that there are various types of itchy skin. You talked about the ones that you feel like something is crawling on your skin, insects crawling on your skin. You're talking about the burning sensation, and of course, you also talked about the tingling ones as well. Well, these I hope that we're all taking particular note of and would work accordingly. But you said again that if we can live with some of the itchy skin, well, it's our own problem. Although you say that there is relief for people if they need it. But which ones do we not need to take lightly? Which ones are deadly and dangerous? And how do we identify them?
If, for example, you have generalized body itch, and you've not been able to identify any cause for it, and it's been going on and on, and it's like almost all remedies that you've attempted have failed. But it's really going on, and particularly those who may be lucky. I'm saying lucky because sometimes it may be just the sole symptom of a more serious disease about to come.
About to come?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I use that in quotes, those who are lucky. Lucky in the sense that if on top of the itchy skin, you start having other complaints, like say you are losing weight, say you've been having fever, and most of them usually at night, say you've been sweating profusely, and usually at night. That one helps you because you won't stay home. Because you see, that's why I say those who are lucky. That's something to really push you.
Yeah.
So I go and see a doctor. Because yes, these symptoms, it may be even HIV. Have you thought of it? That HIV, people living with HIV, itchy skin may be just the only symptom of it. And then sometimes too, talking about those that have the blood cancers, which we call lymphomas, itchy skin may precede the full-blown disease sometime up to about 5 years. So you may have been living with just itchy skin 1 year, 2, 3, 4, and maybe the 5th year. That's where you start having the other symptoms.
That's where the
swelling lymph nodes, and then you have your fever, and then you'll be losing weight, and then drenching eye sweats and things like that. And this one, you wouldn't stay home. Yeah. So when you have any of these, where again, talking about, you made mention of the liver. Liver, some people may have just itchy skin, and sometimes they may also notice that they are becoming darker than they used to be.
Darker?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you have itchy skin and you are just becoming darker than your natural skin color, if you mention it to every doctor, yes, we know some liver conditions. There's one we call primary biliary cirrhosis, for example. Yeah, that's a more serious one because the liver is going to become hardened and it's not going to perform its God-given function. You can't live without the liver. So if you have generalized almost all body itchy and you have other symptoms, other complaints, other worries, yeah, they will help you not stay home, go and look for help, and then doctors, this one, whoever you meet, they will run a series of tests, ask you a host of questions, and depending on the answers, yes, sometimes you'll be lucky to find the disease or the cause for it. So these ones, you are not to take them lightly. If you have generalized body itch going on for ages, and then you have other associated complaints, what we call symptoms, you don't have to take it lightly. Often there's a more sinister complaint behind it.
Now, having said what you just said, because again, along the line, you mentioned that it is possible that you may have some, systemic disease.
Yeah.
And you've lived with that itchy skin for a year, 2, 3, or even 4, or maybe more. Now, if you don't have those symptoms you mentioned, that you're growing lean, or your skin is becoming dark, or you're having sleepless nights, and all that, how do you know that you are at risk of any of these systemic diseases, such that you don't wait till the 4th year or the 5th year, but that you act within the 1st year or first 2 months, even if possible?
That's why I said you will need to see a doctor. Because once you have generalized body itch and you haven't really identified the cause, you have to be worried.
But again, isn't it possible? I ask that question again because isn't it possible that you might think that, oh, for me, I react to this medication, or to maybe I'm reacting to a pomade, or I'm reacting to the aquagenic ones. You may associate it to something else. Meanwhile, it is not what you assume or presume to be.
Actually, if indeed you've noticed that there's a particular pomade, which when you put on top of your skin, you start getting itchy skin. I know there may be days where you will not even use it at all. And then realize that, yeah, indeed, you are symptom-free.
Okay.
That one is more convincing that indeed you are only reacting to a chemical in whatever you've been applying on the skin. But we are talking about where you see that you don't have any control, you don't have any clue about it. I have to be honest that even sometimes when you even appear before a doctor, we may run series of tests today for you and so pronounce you to be okay. Meanwhile, there's something coming, and that's why it becomes a routine. So regularly, we'll ask you to come for repeat checks. So I'm not saying anytime you appear, because I said sometimes you may even precede it for up to about, say, 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you start getting itchy skin today and you appear before a doctor tomorrow, we can run all tests and tell you that, well, as of today, based on the results I have, I can't really point a finger at this or that.
Wouldn't it be prudent then for a doctor to say, well, I've tried A, B, and C, it's not giving me much, but because I know that there are times when cancers may emanate from skin, itchy skin, or you may have a problem with the kidney or the liver as a result of itchy skin, let's go check, do some liver function tests, do some kidney whatever test. I mean, isn't that
that's what we do. Yeah, that's what the doctor. So
because the reason for my asking this is that you made mention that you could ask, say, well, you said we can't find anything now, so we'll come back later again. So if you keep coming back and you're told over and over again that we can't identify anything, more the problem persists, people give up.
Some of them, there are some diseases. Once you have it undiagnosed means you are not even aware, but the disease is ongoing.
Yeah.
Each is associated symptom. And so that one, by the time we test, we'll find out that you've been living with kidney disease. But I'm talking about the blood cancer. That's the extreme. That yes, you can start having or even a liver condition. And sometimes also depends on the test we run. We have batteries of tests which commonly we run for everyone, again depending on the cost. Sometimes you have to move a step further and run some tests which are not really commonly done. Sometimes we are just limited because of available facilities and things like that. But what I'm saying is that we have many systemic diseases. When you have them at the very beginning and you are not even aware, not showing any other symptoms, and you only have itchy skin, when we run these biochemical tests, we'll be able to identify
them. Okay.
Of course, before a doctor will run this, we'll ask you some questions. There may be some symptoms you may not have even paid attention to. Kidney, for example, some people wake up early morning, their face looks puffy. As the day goes by, it resolves, and well, that doesn't not. They may take it, oh, it's just because I didn't have enough sleep, and you may have an excuse. But once you see before a doctor, we ask a few other. You may be vomiting, your urine output may be down, and you may have had some sore throat and things like that. Every doctor will start thinking maybe, and then we'll run the test. Sometimes it's not even the blood; it's the urine. Urine test may confirm that yes, you already have kidney disease. So once you approach before a doctor, yes, definitely. By the time you leave the doctor's room, it will have been of help going to see him.
Right. So in the earlier ones that we talked about, you made mention of the fact. I mean, and some people already know them. I talked about the psychogenic ones, which is, of course comes as a result of bathing in an unclean environment. We know of the aquagenic ones. We know of the ones in medications and all that. So they are triggered by something. Now, when it comes to these systemic disease ones or conditions, what triggers them? At what point in time do you have the itch? Such that, okay, fine. If it comes, then okay, then I need to go do something about it. What triggers them?
Nothing. So we say they are inexplicable.
So that you're just there.
You can't,
and then it just
for
comes
no
all
reason.
of a sudden. It just comes and you're itching.
Getting itchy skin. Today is here, the next day, well, definitely everything starts from somewhere. So the first time you started going after your skin with your fingers, well, you thought maybe, but then you realize, oh no, come on. Yesterday, today, and it's becoming worse. It's here, there, every day. That is what we are talking about.
How often? Once a week, thrice a week?
No, it depends.
Okay.
Of course, once the disease every day is just intensifying, it tells you that these symptoms will also be worsening. So you realize that almost every day, because once you haven't tackled the cause, the itchy skin is going to be with you. So it's not on and off sort of. You are going to have it almost every now and then. And definitely for us, our people here, you try your own remedies. This one will say this is worms, take the wormer and things like that. And you realize none of them is helping you until if you are really conscious of your health. Then you start thinking, why don't I approach a doctor to see if there's maybe something that I haven't found yet.
If it's that of a systemic disease, is the itch severer than that of aquagenic or psychogenic or medicated itch?
That one, we can grade every disorder and the degree of the itch.
Okay.
When I started, I made mention of the fact that there are some skin disorders. If you don't have itch as your complaint, we can't even think of that disease. Something like, say, atopic eczema.
Okay.
We know why they have the itchy skin. Their skin is very dry, and every dry skin is itchy.
Okay.
So as they start scratching, then they get a rash.
Okay.
And as the rash comes, it gets more itchy. Then it forms like a vicious cycle. So that one, depending on which part of the body, yes, it can be very distressing. You can also talk of even infestation, scabies. It's a mite that you can really acquire from someone. Scabies, very, very itchy. You can't control. Even you may be in public or whatever, there's no way. And it's worse at night and sometimes after bath. And here, if you are not careful from this conversation, once I said after bath, you think, oh, it's aquagenic. But no, apart from that, also at night, even though you are having bath, you can't control. And then you have lesions on the skin. You start seeing some rashes in between your digits. And what helps with scabies is that if you are lucky,
in between the fingers.
In between the fingers, sorry. What helps with scabies is if you are lucky, again I'm saying lucky because if you are staying with other people in the same household, they may also start complaining about the same itchy skin.
Okay.
So once you see outside of, besides you, other people close by also complain of itchy skin.
Okay.
If you mention this to any dermatologist, you say, that is scabies. We will examine you in between your fingers, the genital area, the armpits. You realize there are skin lesions. That is scabies.
Okay.
And that you have to be treated in addition to almost everybody close by you, whether they are showing symptoms or not. So that's a more serious disorder.
Doc, we'll talk more about the problems, the systemic disease conditions, where you mentioned the liver, the kidney, and of course the cancers and all that. But you mentioned a particular condition or situation, let me put it that way. I just want to ascertain whether that could also be a serious one. Worms. That's worms. Worms infestation. That's also caused the body to itch.
Not all of them, but some of them. There's one where usually the worm lays the eggs around the inner region. And so people, you see once a while when they stand, you see them sticking the finger into the inner region. Some will be pulling the dress there, just because they don't want other people to know.
They don't want serious attention.
Yeah, we call it pruritus inner, and sometimes even men too, even the scrotal skin can also be that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have some worms, not all of them, but some of them, because of they are foreign agents. They are not supposed to be in the body. So the body can react to them and other substances by way of itch. But it's not all of them.
Okay.
But here, I don't know for what reason. Most people, once you have itchy skin, take the wormer. But most, if you take about 98 out of 100, they'll tell you, I've taken the wormer, and it's still itchy. It tells you it's not it.
So more education, more advice for us all. Doc, let's talk about one other thing. I'll go for a break and we'll talk about the cancers, we'll talk about the kidneys and livers and whether it is treatable, manageable, curable, and all the bulls there. But, that in some homes, people share a towel. Even, husbands and wives, some of them will share the same towel, share the same sponge. And this is the skin we're talking about. We're talking about the skin being so delicate and so, fragile sometimes that, we transfer disease and stuff like that. Is it dangerous? Is it advisable to share towels, even with little ones? I mean, you have 3 children. You're not at the same towel. Let's talk about that one as well.
Well, sharing, say, clothing, like, say, the towel and things like that, if we don't have anything infectious is when you can really transmit an agent to someone. Well, there's no harm about that.
Yes, no harm. Okay.
No, it's if you have an infectious skin disorder like the scabies that I mentioned, then no.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, nothing.
It's just okay. All right, so we'll go for our very second and final commercial break, taking messages from some sponsors of ours on the diary. When we return, Doctor will tell us more about the treatment for itchy skin, and then we'll take your responses as well on the phone lines. Please don't go away. This is the diary. As always, it's on Love 97.5, and my name is David AKUETTEH. We'll be right back.
You are great, yes, you are.
The Word of God is a strong foundation, a rock that keeps us standing through the storms of life and exposes our innermost thoughts and desires. Join the International Central Gospel Church Trinity Temple, Kwadaso, every Sunday from 8 to 10:30 a.m. as we help you discover your purpose through life-transforming messages. Remember, the proof of a desire is in its pursuit. Don't miss our weekday services on Wednesdays and Fridays from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Your life will never be the same.
Say you are great. You are great. Say you are great. You are great. Everything about you is great.
In life, we have a choice.
To look for a way or to make our own way. Professional women need Pro Woman, which contains evening primrose, star flower oil, and other carefully selected ingredients which give you a healthy skin, hair, nails, and regular undelayed monthly cycle.
Proman is a specially developed multivitamin enriched with essential vitamins, L-carnitine, Siberian ginseng, and amino acids, which give a boost to your immune system and increases your performance at work. With Proman
and Pro Woman, we have the power to make our own way.
Proman and Pro Woman give you health and vitality for an active lifestyle.
Solely imported and marketed by NS Chemist Limited.
For the past 12 years, New Generation Investment Services Limited, a leading investment banking firm, has guided thousands of institutions and retail investors to make millions in secured portfolio investments. New Generation Investment Services Limited is licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the National Pension Regulatory Authority. We offer Treasury Bill Plus fixtures for our products such as fixed deposits, premium investments, NGI's Child Care Investment, and Diamond Plus investment plans, as well as manages Tier 2 and Tier 3 pension funds. NGI's Limited also manages the Enidaso Mutual Fund. Talk to our seasoned investment advisors now and we will structure an investment portfolio for you.
Visit us at first floor Kokobo Jubilee House, Adum Kumasi, and second floor Abosoma Kotre House near Cocoa House, Sunyani, or our website www.ngis-group.com. Call us in Kumasi on 03220-91608 or in Sunyani on 0352-197-482. New Generation Investment Services Limited, achieving excellent returns on your investments.
All right, so the final lap is on now. It's 14 minutes to 3, and we're wrapping up on our conversation with Dr. Martin J. He's a dermatologist. He has told us a lot of things about the skin and, of course, itchy skin. And I pray that we've taken note and we're going to put them to good use. Now, Doc, before I ask you any question, let me go through some of the messages I have. And now this one from Opoku Benjamin, who says, I have some rashes on my buttocks. Sometimes I feel pain when I sit on a wooden chair. He says he needs help. Now, what would you want to say to him? What rash will be on the buttocks area such that when you sit on a wooden chair, it's painful?
This one, he asked for skin. Unfortunately, it has to be examined by a skin doctor.
Okay.
So if it's so much a bother to him, as he has rightly pointed out, he will need to see a dermatologist. We'll just examine, and then based on what we see, we can tell him what it is.
Okay. Now, Yas Sapoma also on Facebook says, David, good afternoon. My daughter's skin is always itching. Okay, let me start. My daughter's skin is always itching her unless you scratch till she sleeps. Please ask doctor what is really the problem with her skin. Thanks.
I don't know how old that daughter is.
I know you're listening, Sapoma. If you can
tell us the age. The family she belongs to. If it's normally when we talk of daughter, I know most of us maybe a young one. When they start growing up, often we will not say maybe that. But if it's a young one,
okay, so give us a range here between 4 and let's say 10, between 10 and 12, something. Give us a range.
because what I'm going to talk about, atopic eczema, usually starts from 3 months old.
Okay.
So from 3 months old, usually it's common families where somebody has a bronchial asthma, or what we call allergic conjunctivitis. People who have itchy throat and watery eyes, and they'll be sneezing and things like that. If any of these symptoms that I've mentioned, any family member really exhibits any of them, the baby, the child, the daughter, whoever may have what we call atopic eczema. Again, it will be wise if it could appear before a skin doctor. We'll just take history, we'll examine the skin. You may not see something, I will see. And then based on that, we can really come out with something. But it's not normal that you have to always scratch the back before the child sleeps.
Samdo also says the problem with eczema, usually it comes and goes. What is a permanent solution to it? Great program by all standards. Thank you very much, Sam, for those kind words.
Well, he's using a term, so the challenge is, do I take it that what I know to be eczema is what he's talking of or not?
Okay.
Atopic eczema, because I remember one time at one forum, somebody told me a crow is eczema. I said, no, please. That is pityriasis versicolor. So here, if the person is using our term, it's difficult for me to buy. But granted, that is what we as dermatologists know as eczema. Usually, atopic eczema. Eczema itself is not diagnosis, but atopic eczema is exactly what I was talking of. That is common in families where somebody has asthma. They tend to have dry skin and they have itchy skin, and so they start scratching and then they develop the rash. Atopic eczema, yeah, we can treat. We don't really pronounce a cure, but we can treat, handle, so that it will not be so much of a bother anymore for you. Again, you have to see a dermatologist. We have to examine.
Well, Gad Wada Azilaku says, I'm enjoying your program. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Mason says, nice program. Thank you very much, Lizzie, as well. All right, so you can join us now on the phone lines, 03220-83596. Do you have a concern? Do you have a problem? Do you have a question? Just give us a call and let's see what response the doctor will give to you. The number again to call is 03220-83596. Let's talk about your itchy skin. Let's talk about the problem you have with your skin, and let's see what help you can get this afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Dave.
Yes, sir. What's your name?
Mansoor, about number one.
Mansoor, welcome. Let's hear you.
Mr. Dave, it's about pimples. How can I treat pimples without losing my natural color? Because I have a sister who is suffering from that problem.
Mansoor, thank you very much. Doctor will give you an answer to your concern or question. Sherry Daniel.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sherry. Welcome. Let's hear you.
I have this ringed eye. Normally, my friends call me an owl. I don't know what is it. I don't do makeup as well. But when I put on my simple powder, you see the ring out. It's dark. And I sweat a lot. And when I sweat, I itch. Why?
Well, Sherry Daniels there. Thank you very much for your call. 03220-83596. Do you have a problem with your skin? Does it itch? Let's talk. Nanefwa.
Yes, darling.
You happy New Year, why?
Also, sir.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I wanted to find out. Mine, I don't know whether it's pom-pom or whatever it is. My armpits, both of it. Anytime I shave or don't shave, it comes, and so my armpits, they're one effort. I don't know whether it's pom-pom, balls, or whatever it is.
Well, doctor will give you some responses. Thank you very much, Nanefa, for your call. Mr. J.B. Dankwa.
Hello.
Good afternoon,
sir. Dave.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Good afternoon, sir.
Mine is after bathing, I feel itchy on my stomach, only my stomach, and sometimes my buttocks. So if the doctor can help me.
Well, Mr. J.B. Dankwa, thank you very much. We'll give you a response. You itch after bathing on your stomach only. That's good for you. Victor.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Victor.
Good afternoon, my brother.
Let's hear you.
Doc, I want to know, it's around my buttocks region, and then sometimes when I scratch, you have this bombs around my motor. So what is happening?
Yeah, you, Victor. Doc will give you an answer shortly. Thank you very much. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, my dear. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your name again? I didn't catch it.
Patience.
Patience. Oh, what about you? Patience, let's hear you.
Please, anytime I finish bathing or when I sweat or even when I go out of the rain, my skin itches me until it's dry.
And you also want to know why, what you can do about it. Thank you very much, Patience, for your call. Well, Doc, we have about almost nine questions. Let me, or 7, is it 7 or 9? Let me just pick 2 more, and then we wrap up on those. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, boss. What's your name, sir?
Hello.
Hi, sir. What's your name, sir?
James.
James, welcome, boss. Let's hear you.
I have this same problem. Anytime I bath with a cold water, my body itches, and especially even now, I can't train. If I try to train and I got sweat, trust me, you can't even be with me. So I can't train, and this is my problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. That was James there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dave.
Hi, what's your name?
Mrs. Amankwa on the line.
Mrs. Amankwa, welcome. Let's hear your question.
Yeah. When I was pregnant, I itched before, 5 months ago, I was itching beneath my butt. And I reported it to my gynecologist. I've seen 3 gynecologists during pregnancy and after delivery. I've been on cetirizine and hydrocortisone. That is a cream. Cetirizine 3 times, the itch still persists. So what do I do?
Well,
thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Amankwa. Doctor has been very kind. He's been noting all the concerns down, and I'm sure he has responses for all of them. Doc, so from Mansour to Sherry to Nanefa to JB Dankwa, Victor, Patience, James, and all the rest. I mean, I know you have the list before you. Let's take it one after the other, sir.
All right, Mansour asks about pimples, the treatment without losing the skin color.
Yeah.
Oh, if we treat your acne, yes, you can have what we call post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. That's the place becomes darker. But there is something we use to treat the black spot. I know most people, as we mentioned the last week, use what we call triple action. We don't use triple action to treat acne. Acne can only be treated by a dermatologist. So you need to see a dermatologist. The danger, if you delay, is that you have scars. The place you have indentation, small holes in the skin. So we can treat it. If you treat it early in the hands of a dermatologist, Mansouri, yeah, you will not have any change of your skin color. There was Sherry who said around the eyes it looks darker,
like an owl.
Yeah. We will need to see. We have a condition we call melasma, one chloasma. It's almost the same, where you have hyperpigmentation. Usually most people are around the cheeks, and it can also go around the eyes. Some people, they may be on oral contraceptives, and you will need to see a doctor, and and then we'll be able to know. And he said after sweat, if you have itchy skin, most of them.
And most of them talk about after sweat.
Yeah, we call it cholinergic pruritus. Cholinergic pruritus.
Okay.
It's some nerves that are really involved with the sweat.
Okay.
Just see a dermatologist and we can help you.
Treatable, yeah?
Yeah, Nana, if you ask about the armpits,
That's
that one too, again, is worrying because there's something we call hidradenitis suppurativa. Hidradenitis suppurativa.
Okay.
It's just like boils. And you would think it's boils, but it's not. You need to see a dermatologist. Usually they have pus oozing out and it's just woeful. Sometimes even affect the buttocks. So you need to see a dermatologist.
JB Dankwa.
After bath, he said lucky for him it's only the stomach and then the buttocks. He's lucky. Again, a dermatologist we can help. And then Victor also said the same thing around the buttocks, and then when he scratches, he develops some bumps. As I said, when it's got to do with any lesion on the skin, we have to see with our eyes. Our eyes are different. Once we see, we'll be able to help you and see what it is. And then I think somebody else also mentioned, also when it goes out in the rain, and after bath. It's the same aquagenic pruritus that we are talking of.
Okay.
You need to see a dermatologist and we can help you. James said after cold bath and then after training.
He can't even train anymore.
Yeah, training is what I said is cholinergic pruritus.
Okay.
Yeah, the nerves involved with sweat glands producing sweat, they induce the itch, and you can be helped out. And then Mrs. Amankwa said itchy skin during pregnancy. Yeah, there's something we call cholestasis of pregnancy. It's most likely. Most people, when they get pregnant, bile, which comes from the liver to the gut, usually cannot flow well. And such people, if you give them the antihistamine, it doesn't help because the cause is different. So no wonder she requires about 3 tablets of cetirizine and it's still not helping. She'll need to see a dermatologist. We can be of help.
For the severe ones, like the cancers, the kidney problems, the liver problems, and all that, also as a result affects the skin, that itches. Treatable, manageable, curable? It
depends on what. If you have kidney failure, for example, well, we can cure it by giving you a new kidney transplant, renal transplant, which we don't do in Ghana for now. And if it's your liver, if you have primary biliary cirrhosis, the end point is that we can also transplant somebody's liver. So most of them, yes, we can help. Others too, we can only just control.
As always, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Next week, he's not going to be here, but we will definitely have him somewhere in March. My name is David AKUETTEH. It's now time for us to bring to you sports, the Wednesday edition. And the man, Delali, he's here, and he has more for you on sports. Delali, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, David. We can replace your liver for you, or your kidney if you have any problems. Don't worry.
He's done it! Could he be his tournament?
بوسكيتس يتبع تحرك منتويا جميلة